Okay, ndị be anyị ekene m ọnụ. Ocha ike na-ekene ọnụ niile. Over time, there is this recurring topic that has continued to, resurface and resurface and resurface. Oh, a very important topic, oh, by the way. Cannot even a lot of people have given their theories and ideas and everything on this topic. I know a very simple thing though. How do we develop Ala Igbo? How? Many people believe that all the government will develop Ala Igbo. As a certified administrator, it's very, very funny to me. When we are talking about how to develop Ala Igbo, people will start saying government. Am I here with government? That is the question. One ndị Igbo na-asị na onye amara ebe mmiri na obido mabia nara mebe ọ na-akwụsị. Yotago. If we are talking about development of Ala Igbo, you should understand that governments have little role to play. Yes. The government has just little role to play in the development of Ala Igbo. When I was in school studying about public administration, that is the handling of government-owned parastatals, institutions, and all that, I got to understand something. Out of everybody done in Nigeria, out of how they did their thing, Ndi Igbo made things differently. We were what you call an acephalous society. We believed in a highly decentralized system. When the Igbo government withdrew from the family, and the only government that starts from the family. Those are all trash. They come and impose nonsense on you, and you think your vote is working. No. I am Ezeoku. But when the pain with that, when we are talking about development of Ala Igbo like this, the same Igbos that should understand what development is all about, because all their life is about development. I'm telling you, are now waiting for the government to come and develop Ala Igbo. How long can you take? That is the question. How long? Development is not about good roads and structures and houses and hotels and companies. Okay, man, already have development. No. Development is about the mind, the people, the mind, the people. Because the structures you are going to build, the good roads, the hotels, the companies, the houses, the factories, everything requires people to function. Requires people to build one way or the other, directly or indirectly. So, I am maka development in Ala Igbo when the minds of our people torato. Exactly. So how do we develop Ala Igbo? I'll give you few theories I have, few ideas, few opinions of mine. The most important thing in developing Ala Igbo is a wholesome Igbo educational system. You can't talk about development without education. I can argue A is for apple, B is for ball. Is that your concept? No. Before I go, A is for apple and B is for ball. One day I know how we did things. And that time, we did not need any government to do anything for us. You have to go. We were able to handle ourselves properly. I nwere ndị diokpara, I nwere ụmụada, I nwere ndị nze na ọzọ. Yotago. I nwere different institutions, ekpe, I nwere Mon, I were so many institutions that made sure Ala Igbo was run very, very well. So we cannot, and all these things, all these institutions I just mentioned, were based on this Igbotic educational system. So you cannot talk about development without education. A is for apple, how is A is for apple our business? No way. The average Igbo child gaguli A is for apple to Z. Man omangu abeche. Omangu abeche. Omari ihe wu daulu, omari ihe wu damfe, omari ihe wu daro, omari ihe wu dampe. Man oma A B C D. Omo de sa po yi in English. Okwogi, wog namely, ma oro nde we kai nde ngwa. So we cannot talk about development of Ala Igbo without an Igbo educational system. Very, very important. Igbo educational system, because education is for shaping the mind. Education is for shaping the mind. So how can you then develop if you don't shape the mind of your people towards development or the possible? Maka Chineke ọwụ na m sị ka m were naanị Igbo kwuo okwu ebe a, o nwere ụfọdụ ndị Igbo ga-abịa ebe a ha agaghị aghọta ihe m na-ekwu. Kedu ihe nke ahụ na-akpata? O mee anyị na-ekwuzi okwu anyị na-atụgwa ya oyibo ka o nwee ike na-ekwe ndị mmadụ nghọta, maka na ịsụ asọ Igbo nwanne hụkwa ndị Igbo na-anaghị aghọta ihe na-aghọtago. Ka ezi ka anyị ga-esi weta mmepe be anyị. How then do we develop our land? The most important way is through first an Igbo educational system. I might talk about Igbo educational system, here, honestly, because the Igbo educational system comprises of so many things. It comprises of so many things. An educational system and a framework that will shape the mind of an Igbo baby with Igbo concepts, ideologies, methodologies of ime before one hero 18 years. One day we've lost that child. Some of us who bring Igbo today and we are pushing it is simply because it is in us. We cannot deny it. Like we can't run away. People we reincarnated were hardcore Igbotic people. So we cannot run away from it because it is already obvious to go with whoever we are now. Man, if we don't have an educational system that will shape the mind of an Igbo baby from 0 to 12 years, 18 too far, from 0 to 12 years, I lose go one, and Igbo land cannot develop. Igbo language na one, it is dying. So what's Igbo eba kita ubua? Ega hundi Igbo ga deba se na ha na ga wote him Igbo. Awurun sobu. Very big problem. So the educational system is very important. Why is the educational system sacrosanct? The most important thing, very simple, because like I said, the mind is shaped through education. Education is all about guided, controlled, verifiable information. Aganenye people for the purpose of bringing them up to date with the goals, the expectations the society wants. We have even billionaires everywhere. Anambra State in the buying. One name with billionaires. Like it's common. It's common. When you buy in a village, you got a billionaire in Anambra State. Anambra with so much money. But does the money reflect in the state? No. No, it doesn't. Because of the lack of that educational system that will instill that Igbo consciousness in us. So I told you but they go billionaires one day. The billions go in a pocket and it can't really reflect. It can't really do much. So Igbo need an Igbotic educational system. First, whereas women from 0 to 12 years before they even start knowing ABCD. One day I've read lots of books when people na homeschool. Lots about Einstein, quantum physics, or his own observation, self-taught. Do you understand? So what makes us believe that we must go to this school now to be who we are supposed to be? I don't understand. The theories you so much want to boast of that you know, were developed by people who nobody taught those theories. So we need an Igbotic educational system. It won't be bad if we have the University of Amadioha. Oga we job. Anyanwu University. It won't be bad. It will not be bad if we have courses like Amadioha studied in our university. Also can be certified Amadioha, whatever. And when they know about Egyptologists, imagine they studied Egyptian culture and whatever. Courses like Ebology are supposed to be there. So, an Igbotic educational system is number one thing we need. If we want to develop Igbo land, I give an educational system that will teach our children. Anambra, Imo, Abia, Igbo niile one that will teach our children. That will teach our children the importance of investing back home, the importance of flying the Igbo flag, the importance of seeing the world from the Igbo point of view. It will take education to make these things happen. Until we stop deriding our Igbo-ness, until we create an educational framework that will champion the Igbo cause, we cannot develop. Any development I give are minimal and it won't last because we're going to carry on. Still talking about the Igbotic educational system. When you shape the mind of these children with Igbo concepts, they will understand that being Igbo is beyond Ezahandi Igbo, Nasu Igbo, Nerimi Igbo, and dress the Igbo way. They will understand that being Igbo means understanding the tenets of Igbo-ness. Nwa gị na-adị 6 years ọta ihe bụ Amadioha, ọta ihe bụ ịchụ aja, ọta ihe bụ arụsị, mara all those concepts from the holistic Igbotic scientific point of view. Nwa na-eru 20 years, nwa ga-awụ genius. So the educational system is very important. Development in Anwa Beke is because their educational system is based on their perception of the world. So we cannot use something based on another person's perception of the world to develop ourselves. It cannot happen. So one cannot download the Igbotic knowledge later. You are only killing that knowledge because this new knowledge will override whatever Obunishi because it has not even been activated. It may be activated because whether A is for apple. Omotacha A is for apple. When the Igbo-ness in him wants to wake up, the A is for apple, suppress it. Because on his surroundings with the school or garani, it won't match. Where he will be more comfortable. That is why our people leave Igbo land. They go to America, they go to Europe, everywhere, and they stay there. They will tell you, period. But imagine having an educational framework that will shape the mind of your baby from 0 to 12 years with Igbotic concepts, the Igbo point of view, the Igbo perspective of life. One day, Tomecha say A is for apple. From the age of 13 till his life or till the Chandomo, or people in contact with all this foreign or Igbo education, he will always know that Igbo is important. That is the only way you can bring about development. Look at the Chinese people. I studied Chinese for some years. Then I stopped. I can't say why here, live on air, not now. But then I discovered a lot. Before China wrote 12 years, I'm going to Kung Fu. Before a Chinese citizen, he wrote 12 years, I'm going to go Kung Fu. That person can write over 1,000 Chinese characters. I'm just saying. Do you understand what that means? Hanzi, the person can share Hanzi like 1,000 at least. That is the Chinese educational framework. That is why China is developed today. Because China is everything. They call it Zhongguo. No, the middle country in the middle of the world. Everybody was in China around. Look at that propaganda. Hey, and they tell you that China is the middle of the world. Oh, yeah, the best. Everybody comes to China to do everything. They want to remain in China where it is happening. They want to stay in the middle of the world where everybody can have their hands. And then what happens? They refuse to go outside and put their technology. Instead, you come to China. But only Igbo with a British educational system mixed with America, confused. We lack the Igbotic educational system. A is for apple, B is for ball. What the hell are we doing with apple? Getting basara Igbo na apple. How many places Kega go na Igbo for apple? You know what I mean? B is for ball. And so the hell what? How is that our business? You know what I mean? One name and a half A is for abacha. A is for abobo. F is for fear. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they don't have that Igbotic educational framework, how do you want us to develop our Igbo? HIEG system that develop? No. Do they have what we have? No. Do you have what they have? No. You are better than these people by far. So when you leave your own stuff and you want to use Ocha that works for them because they developed it according to their point of view and perspective, you now want to replicate what they did. Him and hatch their own point of view, to hatch a whole work, they develop their technology. They are lazy. They tell you they want driverless cars. They are using automated payments. You swipe your hands. They put microchip. This is how they see life. Only Igbo believes in art and craft. Can you go your art and craft? Because they buy your own, and it's very expensive. Now you that believe in art and craft, you want to live lazy because Ocha is lazy and it works for him. Because of his laziness, he is doing things to even make him more lazy. You that is strong and agile wants to now live your own perspective of life. How then do you want to develop? Let me ask you. How do you want to develop? I am a billionaire. Go to Anambra State, you see billionaires everywhere. But what is happening? Is Anambra State like a state made billionaires? Nonsense. If you Anambra compare Anambra State or the state made billionaires, as in what do they have to show for all the billionaires they have? One the propaganda go, hey, for this is gone. Those days should be gone. One day we should be looking at reality. And reality says that if we cannot see it, it does not exist. Period. So you have 5 billionaires in your state. And the 5 billionaires, what do they have to show? What does your state have to show? Nothing. What is the point of having the billionaires now? For bragging rights? Who bragging rights help? Nobody. So, until I am where the Igbotic educational system they shape the mind of our children from 0 to 12 years. One Igbo the highest. Igbo we kuchogo. Igbo dache. Igbo we henine. Hey, with that mindset too. One day we cannot do anything. We cannot develop. Development are all good road. Let me tell you, development is not good roads and big companies. Development is the mind. I said that the all is the mind. The universe is mental. First, it exists in the mind before it becomes something you can see. Albert Einstein won a gravity. All his observation. He didn't go to school to learn that shit. You know what I'm saying? He did not. Louis Pasteur, discoverer. Nobody. He observation here. That observation is the highest form of education. And today, how many of us are observant? How many? Here we say we turn there. We now follow trends. Instead of setting the pace for others to follow, we now follow trends. Why? Because we lack a holistic, Igbo-centric educational framework that what it means to be only Igbo. And until we have that system, or we restore that, now until we restore that system back, we cannot develop. Development will remain a wish for the average Igbo person till thy kingdom come. Yes. Law, medicine, this, that are all based on education. Now, Solid FM the other day I was discussing about herbal versus synthetic medicine. When the Igbo with herbs that we can use to pia teach in the lesson and we'll be free. But look at us, we are drinking bottled water and we die at the age of, in fact, 70 years. Try with all our bottled water, but didn't from the stream and lived hundreds of years. Now, Baba Eseko at that age. You know what I'm saying? So, we did not have third roads, but we had good roads that people could do travel any distance. Everywhere was clean. When Umada no more and everything functioned, Ala Igbo was better off. And let me tell you one thing, all those things are educational framework that we need to do what? Look into again and develop. Yes. I woke up today, man, I said, imagine that the mundane technology of the people of the old, now, but our own sophisticated tech goes obsolete. Pata 2 years. What is the point of the education we have now? What is the point? So, until ndị Igbo etikwa uche na an Igbotic, a holistic Igbotic educational framework, development we can only wish for Igbo land to develop, but it won't really happen. Need happen. A is for apple, manana A is for abacha. At least Hanata abacha, they will see abacha in their life. I know that this is one thing we make. But manana A is for abacha. The curiosity of how abacha is made will be there. Mommy keke say abacha. Oh, kabaye ko apple. Oh, apple bidrona A is also for apple. A is for abacha. Wow. Look at the link. But we don't inspire curiosity in our children anymore. We just want them to follow the trend. I don't want a medical doctor. I want him to be a surgeon, a cardiologist, whatever nonsense. We now tell our children what they will become. We don't even check or we got a passion for him that. Why? Because of the educational system. We want all this fancy stuff. No. How can Igbo land develop? We are not serious. We have 100 million doctors in Ala Igbo, but all they can achieve. We have trillions of rich people in Igbo land, but Igbo land is poor. You know what I'm saying? So, all because the mind, the frame of our mind is not like or nurtured towards the Igbo-centric perspective of life. So we need to give our children that gift. I need to renew my that gift. When we started Maziago TV show, you know, for Maaka, what happened? My small cousin did 4 years. You know, suddenly on Asusibo, on my hair Maziago. Is again warrior, waggy, in Igbo language, or Kawai of. That is what we are talking about. We give them what, like, we instill in them the Igbo pride, and it can only happen with the Igbo-centric educational framework. So I am urging us to start thinking about this Igbo-centric educational framework. Oil development. When you shape the mind of a child, that child cannot depart from that shaping of the mind. Okay, that is how all these people Ndugu starts from childhood to shape the mind of their children. Kuzere had this, that. Like we how they cannot depart from it. No matter what, no matter the logic you bring, what's going to over the years. If we can do the same thing, we create special schools that will be difficult for everybody. Let's say the Amadioha Institute, for an example, where you go and learn things like Ibology, you go there and learn Ibonomics, you go there and learn Igbo-centric courses. When you go to Adiapota, these are the people that will solve the problem of Igbo land because they will be seeing the world from the Igbo point of view. Owaregago Frederick Winslow Taylor was one of the people that propounded the management theory of the Industrial Revolution of 1972 in Europe, in Africa, in Ala Igbo. You are given a fork or two forks about what happened in Europe in the Industrial Revolution. One day before they had the Industrial Revolution, so why should I forget about the bronze of Ibuku? Gana go maka nonsense in Europe just yesterday. I don't understand. I spent 5 years studying about Industrial Revolution in Britain, in Europe. Minus the fact That's I'm a hardcore Igbotic human being. When you by now, I'm abroad. All my invitation of the I'm telling you. Because how and herself, when they see talent, they know. And they will do everything to get you. So minus the fact, no, they matter like I love Igbo to the last of my, like, I don't know how to explain. By now I'm going abroad. And I'll be doing fine, I'll be rich. I'll have money. My name more for ma. You understand what I'm saying? So, we need to start teaching these children about the greatness of Ndi Igbo, Nibuku, and Ndi Igbo Poroso, Ndocha Hapu today. We brought about technology, one beke can study na lab ya till tomorrow. I acquired that Igbo is actually a lifelong journey. A lifelong journey. Being Igbo is not just answering Igbo. So educational framework, number one thing that we can use to bring about development. On education, in courses like Nsala, for example. We develop a course on Nsala, for example. That is where we teach them that corruption is bad. Na kubuko onye de corrupt. Na iwuru onye de uta, ị ga-asọ ihe de uta. Kusere ha nsọ na ụmụaka ha egburu ya n'isi to, and you see a better society. We have courses like Omenani, it becomes a course. Not a career going nursery school and primary school. Yes, we can do it. We can develop that framework and it will work. And it will be better off for Ndi Igbo. So what are we doing? Development are by wishing. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes a framework. So away from the educational system, which is number one. Number two, what I believe can help to develop Igbo land is that Igbo land needs, how do I put it? Igbo land needs an organized leadership. Organized leadership. You got to organized leadership. When they put a square peg in a square hole, put a round peg in a round hole. Or what a pota. Emanonya aga emeli ihe dị ụta, but because ono mụrụ ofu ebe, ono nwanne, ono mere ụta, ono mere nke ọzọ, itinye onye ahụ ebe ọ dịrọ appropriate. No. I need the organized leadership. Kampokwe ya cabal. The Igbo land needs a cabal. All over the world, there are people that are masterminds of everything that happens. Development in our always thinking, or a conscious effort. Give up to the plan what that thing. Strategize here, ne execute here, and it happens mayo. Yes, so Igbo land needs masterminds. Masterminds that will draw up the Igbo land development plan from now till 2100. The next 100 years or so. I say, I actually an airport in every eastern state. I actually a cargo port in every eastern state. I actually 2 stadiums I actually 5 universities I actually so and so hospital that cater for so and so problem. Okay, in Anambra, I got the biggest orthopedic hospital in Ala Igbo in Anambra. We are having the biggest pediatric hospital for children in Niger State. I actually the highest dental hospital in Enugu. Igbo land needs masterminds. Development out of wishful thinking. As a certified administrator, I am telling you, all my field. Igbo land needs what? Masterminds. These masterminds are not quite in government too. Let me tell you something. They will not be they won't be governors, they won't come out for any elective post. Nobody will even know them. You don't need to know who the hell they are. One day, but all I say the map. But Ocha has said now, your predecessor stopped here. This house, no so and so level of completion. We want you to continue in the next 2 years, finish this project. Don't start anything new. And you continue and finish that thing. They need masterminds. Either in movie. I want to about continuity. Apart from screenplay, apart from director, apart from producers, I want to about continuity. Or continuity about it book up when we are shooting the next scene. Alright? I put her court continuity about saying na don't shift. Continuity. under a mastermind. They are the people that really make everything look organized and uniform. Igbo land needs masterminds. Masterminds. And they don't need to be in government. They don't need to be in government. They don't need to be in government. Come on, here are people there. And these people will execute the plan, the big picture. Mea Kovia, reality. But these masterminds still falls back to the Igbotic education, because they need to be people that whose minds have been shaped with the Igbocentric educational system I talked about previously. Because once they are seeing the world from the Igbo point of view, if they are masterminding development plan for Ala Igbo, when they sharp, they so Igbotic, so Igbo need organized leadership. They need masterminds. That's number two. Number two thing get with the development. Masterminds. Capable masterminds. Do you understand me? Exactly. Now number three. Number three thing get with about development in Ala Igbo is that Ndi Igbo needs to go back to our governance system, which starts from the family. I read an article today by someone I respect so much, Maazị Chukwuemeka Obimugo, CEO and Managing Director of Agility. No be advert, but I'm just telling you people, this person with a capacity, he's a big man, or a senior, Swali. Respect. In that article, youths of Nnewi were trying to fix the roads in their community with stone, sand, cement, and all that, and they were doing it with their money. Today, I always read these Igbo youths that are waiting for the government to fix our roads. When previously we used what we call self-help, send their money to school to do what is called knowledge transfer. Knowledge transfer. That is how all these Chinese, Japanese people developed. One day, Europe, when they had weapons, they did knowledge transfer. They replicated the knowledge from their own perspective. Bam. So we need to go back to our governance system that starts from the family. I got back to that governance system. Opara Moria, Ada Moria, Olo Moria, Odudunwa Moria, Nne Moria, Nna Moria. One join ya otu nke ruru otu ụmụ okorobịa, otu ụmụ agbọghọ, otu ụmụ ada, otu ụmụ ọkpụ, otu ndị nze na ọzọ, otu ndị kefa, join ya ihe niile, ndị age grade, ekpe, mmọnwụ, ha niile. If we go back to that system that starts from the family before spread is to the society, I know that self-help will come back again. You know that those billionaires, even in your community, baruru, because now they will belong to one society or the other in the community, and the society so may hey what they go finance here. When the Europe I hear when Indian finance everything there. And when Indian finance here, there are people financing those projects in Ahonato are being financed by people using the government. Or when they will mastermind of those projects, government is a front, or a front. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have made that thing. How would the front of Ndumi made the thing? You got to go. What is Yago? Nabane. Daddy, na chigo, kaina ba. Nihe na tata kapota. Or see, I'm one chilek and go. Oh, quany we have na tata. Now we they bite. Now we be that thing with the bite. Where people they fear. Now we be that. So the government is a front. I want to do mastermind there. Now, if Ndibo goes back to our governance system that starts from the family, the family got the mastermind of development. And when every family is masterminding development in the community, development must come. Not only will it come, but because it is masterminded by these families who are members of this society, maintaining those developments, God, they sure. We lack maintenance culture in Igbo land. Rorondibo, a very beautiful road. Knows that 10 years or maybe. Period. You know why? Because the mastermind of these projects are not the people. When I felt needs of the community. It is not a felt need. So they won't even appreciate you. They won't give a damn. But all the need, Hana mastermind, they will maintain it. So why am I saying this? We have to go back to that our governance system built from the family, and let these people who have these needs mastermind these projects. Finance through the different societies we have in the community. When if we are doing that, a governor will say, will you get away you? Allocation, will you shut up? Shut up! Shut up! Are you mad? No. School is it your money? No. So who the hell are you to come and tell us we should vote you? Come on, see here, Paul say so. Or every time I will give you water, I will give you light. No, now. Oh, because you don't have a holistic Igbo educational framework that will shape your mind. You don't have masterminds, that will handle your projects and bring them from the mental realm to the physical realm. And then your governance system is in Kewabeke, or was your own. So when you lack these three things, how do you want to develop? No, come. One, in a good age for Apple. You are waiting for government style and daughter to develop your land. You don't even have people here the mission in your land. They are all living and going abroad and contributing to the development of our and what a lot is to develop. Oh my God, very hard or go maybe. Okamad na gana transformer zuru ihe na-enye obodo ọkụ. Onye village ahụ, let's say awumonye Ocha, right? Ocha nwere ofu transformer na-enye Ocha ọkụ, and ha na-ekwu na ofu transformer anaghị ezu. Mụnwa asa onye Ocha aga na the transformer ga zuru ihe ahụ na-enye ọkụ na transformer ka ndị Ocha nọrọ n'ọchịchịrị. Why do you think that is possible? Because the mind of the average onye Ocha that I'm using in my example has been shaped using the system of Mwabeke. Do you understand me? So, if development must come to Igbo land, we must go back to that our governance system. Yes. The fourth thing is our language, Asusu Igbo. I know they make mouths, and I'm here to honor. I'm not bragging. I can speak Igbo from now till tomorrow. I am a known Igbo language advocate. I am a known Igbo content creator. No be mouth, no be choice. Man, I'm so Igbo eba. O nwere ụfọdụ ndị Igbo ga-asị, nwanne ana m aghọtachakwa ihe ị na-ekwu. O nwere ụfọdụ ihe na-adịghị mma ka e were oyibo kwuo ya, nwanne. Ịghọtago? Mana n'ihi na o nwere ụmụnne anyị ndị bụ a na-asụrụ ha ihe a n'Igbo, ọ na-efe ha efe. I eti oyibo ka ụmụ ike kwe ha ghọta. Mgbe ahụ ịgbara ndị iro gị ama. Ịghọtago? Why the XY? Why? Ka ihe mere o ji dị ụta maka why? Maka gịnị? You understand? Onye Igbo emepe ọnụ sị gị Igbo language is not complete. What nonsense is that? Ka ihe na-akọ iri wee sị gị Igbo language adịrọ complete. Igbo language is the most complete, the most accurate, the most advanced language on earth, or is an alien language, or supersede the human beings, or what home has. So our language is very important. How will they develop Ala Igbo? They will run away now. They will run away from here because what is the point? What is the point? And Okafo cannot speak Igbo. Okeke cannot speak Igbo. In fact, we don't even name them like Otam na Ocha. People will be like, he's Ocha. Oh, Za White. Can you imagine? You want to go? Oh, now again, name Igbo. If they can't speak our language, how then will they develop Ala Igbo? Because the language is important. The language is the basic. Education in the first place. Or in our language, can the development today? You understand? Onocha ga sigi development. Igbo asigi mepe obodo. Imewu mepe obodo. Imepe obodo is deeper than development. Mepe obodo is deeper than development. Maka ekpo ya mepe obodo. Nwata kira aghọta na ihe na-ekwu maka ya mmepe obodo. Ọ na-agba mbọ maka mmepe obodo. Onye ha mara na tupu obodo emepe, ezinụlọ ga-emepe. Tupu ezinụlọ emepe, nne na nna na ụmụaka ụbụrụ ha ga-emepe, echiche ha ga-emepe, uche ha ga-emepe, akọ ha ga-emepe, amamihe ha ga-emepe. ọwụwa na ihe ndị emepe nwanne obodo ama mmepe. But when you talk about development, many people now here know that ụzọ. So arụ go ụzọ development. Oh, tomorrow home mmadụ kwuchie n'ụzọ ahụ na roja. Where then is development? Or what ụzọ? So the problem is the mind. And that is why our language is very important. Yes. Of course, I entered a competition one time where I used Igbo language to talk about physics. Even Igbo language cover a physics theory. And many people were coming to me saying, "Hi, I'm going to secondary school. Why can't we make courses on physics, chemistry, geography, biology, and all this in Igbo language?" Because if our children can consume those contents in our language, they will see it from our own point of view. Now we can show you off. I know about doctor, professor, engineer, PhD, BSc, PhE, SSN, DSTV, HIV. Nonsense. Our language is very important. My daddy, with so much respect, Emeritus Professor J.A. Ume, he taught me one thing and he said, Igbo language is the only language that is 37. English is 26, others from the 16, some the 29. And Igbo language is the 37 and not 36. 37 because when you include the half tones, and then ma, na, ne, the half tone, when you bring it with the 36 alphabets of Igbo language, it becomes 37 because then with the half and half 7. 3 plus 7 is 10. Go and look at the code of your binary. Zeros and ones and zeros. Igbo language, the only complete language. This is deep knowledge I cannot begin to explain here. But I'm just trying to paint a picture for you to understand. Then only Igbo language is. How then do you want to develop Ala Igbo? Maybe you believe in Igbo. Igbo is not enough. You are by extension saying Igbo is not enough. So what is the point of developing Ala Igbo? About to enough. Okay, happen. But if you believe that Igbo is enough, but needs more to be added to make it overflowing and even more abundant, Igbo maka mepe obodo, Igbo maka development. Number 5, how we can develop Ala Igbo is by always pushing the Igbo agenda in all facets of life, wherever we find ourselves. In Agwegu Gomaka Igbo, I did a song, Igbo Amaka. Igbo Amaka remains one of the biggest songs we ever did. Igbo Amaka went so viral. Igbo in Germany, everywhere, they were using that song to do Igbo festive programs all over the world. For the show in America, but based on logistics, we couldn't attend some of those shows. Man, Igbo Amaka became so viral. What am I saying? One day you are an artist, create from the Igbo perspective. From the Igbo perspective. You are a computer engineer. One day, attach Igbo to that name. Find a way to fix Igbo there. Yes. How about defining chips in Igbo language? How about defining circuits in Igbo? I've done it. I am not an engineer, but I've defined circuits in Igbo language. I've defined chips in Igbo language. I've talked about computers in Igbo language. I've done a lot using Igbo language. Talked about chemicals, talked about water, talked about crazy stuff, scientific ideas using Igbo. And people loved them. So if you're in those fields, take you to think deep with Igbo. Write a book, publish it, we will buy. We will buy. Because that is what the society needs. People will support you. So, number 5, like I said, is pushing and promoting the Igbo agenda wherever you find yourself in all facets of life. One day, the Igbo perspective. Push it. Push it. I said, Igbo just few years to die. Igbo Bible, Igbo textbooks. Are you mad? Very soon, Igbo Quran, Igbo Torah. But he went on chemistry in Igbo language. He went on physics in Igbo language. He went on mathematics in Igbo language. How then can you like books of magic in Igbo language. Books on alchemy in Igbo language, because alchemy is different from chemistry. You know, alchemy is deep, so deep. Give me Igbo. Give me Igbo. Give me Igbo. One day. Or for the name I am at the Igbo self. How then do you want to develop? So these are the things. Push the Igbo agenda, push the Igbo message in all facets of life. You know, an engineer, push Igbo. A doctor, push Igbo. Push Igbo. Now, sorry, I was there when I never knew that doctors, medical doctors, certified, lab coat white, na hana ndi dibia, like herbalists, medical, you know what I mean? Ndi name herbs and na hana partner to work on some projects until I was in the studio with one professor. I won't mention his name because he's well respected, he's well known, and he said it off records that yes, na hana ndi na partner na him and omu yourself will dibia mkoro, and he's a doctor too. So that they partner, they have a union. It's the union, and they meet and talk about diseases they may affect, you know, all over the world and Igbo as well. Then they try to provide solutions by combining herbal medicine and synthetic medicine. Wherever you are, you push the Igbo agenda. Always no say no, you push the Igbo agenda. That is how you bring about development. Look at the Chinese; they are pushing the Chinese agenda. I studied Chinese. I can write Chinese. It's just that I've started to forget some of them. What did they do? They came to us, school fees for 2 years, 10,000 naira only. Monday, how much will you pay to go to school? To an average Nigerian university? But we paid 10,000 naira then. The 10,000 naira, you learn HSK 1 to 5. HSK 1 to 5. The only money you pay again is money for your exam. Email your exams, you pay for the very cheap. Or they're on 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. You pay for your exam. You won't spend up to 50,000 to finish that course for 2 years. 1 year and 9 months to be specific. Do you understand my point? You learn Chinese. You learn their culture. You understand things from. They don't just teach you how to show Hanyu. They don't just teach you how to speak Chinese. They teach you how to think like a Chinese person. I'm telling you, they teach you how to think like them. They teach you their culture, how to dress like them. They teach you Kung Fu. I still know the moves. You know? I still know Kung Fu moves. They teach you Kung Fu. If you understand what I'm saying, Akuzeri Kung Fu. They teach you their culture. One day, I will not lie to you. I open now, I'm hardcore Igbo person. Chinese, let me tell you. It started affecting the way I mark tones on my own Igbo language. Because Igbo, when I carry with Chinese, but Chinese own is kind of a little bit different. You know what I mean? So, one day, we have it. Like, push the Igbo agenda. Chinese, they push their agenda into Africa. Look at them now. They give you loan. They collect the loan from you again and use it to build roads. Now, standard hatch or you are with the KKDK by Nigeria and Izuzuare, and China. They can even seize some of your assets. One day, they are pushing their agenda. Why can the average Igbo person not push the Igbo agenda? If you don't push it, how do you want to develop? You are shy of being Igbo. You are not even proud of your Igbo-ness. Ndị na-aza Igbo bịa ha echenji ya. Ihe ebe na-aza ọcha, ese m na ịkwa Jew, emaghị ha na-akọ ka ihe na-azara ọcha. Look for a sexy name and answer. And you want to develop. Look at what the Chinese are doing. A Chinese person will answer as in, or tell him, oh, good now I mean bush. They will answer it proudly. And they will tell you why they answer bush proudly. So push the Igbo agenda anywhere you are. That is how to bring about development. And then let me talk about other, important things, but not so serious. Ndi Igbo need to stop the pull him down syndrome. You are developing something. You show it to your brother. He likes it. He starts pushing it with you. Then he begins to create things from that thing in him. You get angry. You want to create, you push your thing. Let's say you develop milk onye ahụ ewere milk gaa ahụ that he's pushing, create something else, maybe create something you can eat. Now it's just to put it and drink. He freezes the milk, boy, milk bar, and the ingredients of your product. Oh, you get angry. Now you want to also do milk bar. How do you want development? Will it not be better if every Igbo person with a company, so when your brother is creating from your, like, you've created something and people are seeing it on aga, one nigga see from that thing, create it by also, promote each other, support each other, push Igbo, understand that Igbo will maintain. And the car on the do the the sky is too wide for two birds to crash. Why? The sky is too wide. You can't have it all, you can't do it all. And when you hear about areas of specialization, I'm talking to you as an administrator right now. When you come to an institution, and when you hear about specialization, and when they will secretary, and when they will PA, and when they will receptionist, and when they will customer care, you hear that they push about efficiency. You cannot be jack of all trades. So when you've created something and your brother Lere Ganya, he creates that is pushing in guy he created because on the main ingredient is a one. When they focus on pushing more of that your own, go we get ingredient more of his own. On about partner together. Because without partnership, there cannot be development. Development is about the mind. And when two of you partner, you rub minds together. Ala Igbo na-adị. Actually, vocational schools, ụlọ ebe a na-akụzi maka ọrụ aka, forget about theory niile anyị na-agụ. Ebe a na-akụzi maka ọrụ aka, vocational institutions, we need them, more of it. And when you are talking about vocational institutions from the Igbo perspective, these are things we can do. Because all I shape what the minds of today's children, governor, Igbo centric, he will think Igbo first before himself. Okagadi corrupt because as you go nsoala as a cause, ordinary omenani as causes in Boka Doberi, Zoya or Goya Montaya. Ali we develop take time. This is another thing. We must be patient. Have masterminds that will map this thing and tell us the time frame. I gonna walk towards. I am when did the next so that we don't go back to square one. People go moku a lot. And that's not too bad, I'm go 5:30 or 6 by now. Okay, I'm right. So I've said so much. You understand? So all natural development in Ala Igbo, these things I talked about are the things we must look into. Period. If we don't look into them, development can only be wishful thinking for us. We can only wish I get developed, but we cannot develop. So I want to actually develop. We must look into these things. We must look into these things. You understand? I told me kumaka religion because ndi Igbo nwere a way we did things. When you believe with na, when he na efe na akpọrọ isi a, onye Igbo gasị gị na ike nga adịghị ire ya were ya mee nkụ. Ịghọtago? Ọ sị gị na alụsị kpakara ike ezi ya osisi eji pịa ya. That should tell you something. We are always in control. Man is always in control. Ọ sị gị mmadụ bụ chi onye. Oh God, the God you see is you. You can control everything. You are part of nature. Nature is part of you. So we need to re-educate the younger generation now. That is why we are doing a lot of things, and I support a lot of Igbo people naming so many things. You know, so because development of Igbo land, let us start changing, supporting one another. For those that are joining us late, please listen to this video from the beginning. Okay, some of the points I raised, because I would like questions in the comment section that I'll answer later on, maybe in subsequent videos. You know, I cannot give my all to this course and I will not see results, or they're not possible. So I believe na Igbo land gadimma if we do what? Take Igbo seriously. Happy Igbo maka Nigeria, the wider scope. a na-esi n'ụlọ mara mma pụwa n'ama ma idozite libe ala Igbo ka eke ga-esi dozie Nigeria. It's not possible. Amam communities nwere up to 3 billionaires. Ha nwere ụzọ ha chala. They have bad roads. Why? Ha na-eche government, but they have billionaires that can handle that thing. The same billionaires will donate billions to the government to do nothing. Not even government of their state or federal government. You will buta begi 10 liters buta. You gonna accrue 1 cup of water. Gana ocean. I don't know what you want to achieve. The mentality of our people has to change, because development is of the mind first. Mind first. So umuibe, I don't want to, stress this too much. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to stress this too much. I believe that I've said what I need to say. I just give my opinion. Tomorrow, Monday, I will be talking about concepts near Hindai, if I have the chance, because I'm always busy doing a lot of things. I might say come live on Monday to talk about some things. There are issues we need to address: gender equality, polygamy, so many issues I can address. Mayo. But until I come your way next time, I can come on get Ocha Igbo content creator, singer, songwriter. You guys know me, Igbo ambassador, Igbo Tik all the time. When we join him every Thursday. Na Solid FM, or call 4:30 to 6. Where we use Igbo language to discuss about issues named Igbo land. Every Thursday, 4:30 to 6, I'll be broadcasting live on this page. So you can join me every Thursdays, ask your questions. All new topics you would like me to discuss on radio, come on, tell me in the comment section. I will talk about them. If there are topics you would like us to talk about on radio, see in the comment section. I will definitely talk about them. And the day I talk about it, I will tag you if I remember. We have to develop Igbo land collectively. Ala Igbo will be the only place we have. Ala Igbo will be the only place we have. I want about Zion, boy. And you Ala Igbo ga away. You know, him. We would your ancestors are piaga and the because you were useless to Igbo. The brain drain the too much. One day, I went to Lagos, Mbaka. Only Igbo under bridge, traveling on Lagos instead of coming back home. Can you imagine that? The brain drained too much. But let's not talk about that. Maybe next live video, I'll look into that. So, Biko, Ocha TK signing out. Kanga, we do money house. Mana Biko no, we must develop Ala Igbo collectively. Aworo makamuaku. Oda ayemba. Like, no. Then let's work together and develop Ala Igbo. So, I want your opinions here. I want you to, let me know what you think. I want you to tell me topics you would like me to talk about on radio and live on air. I want to hear from you. Send me direct messages. I'll reply you when I see them. Until next time, Gabia your way. Peace. Udo. Come to do. Garden.